Right guys, we're in day 3, so your fasting now should be until 4 o'clock, which gives us a 4-hour eating window. Again, it's not really about counting the calories that you eat within your eating window. It's about just making sure that it's good, nutritious, healthy food. That's the main objective, and also trying to get good quality protein. Now, this is why we have in our protein shake to break our fast. There's actually a couple of reasons, so I'm going to try and break this down for you. I'll try and not make this too sciencey, but I think this is really, really, really important to understand. For any sort of diet protocol at all, never mind, or specifically really important for intermittent fasting. So, we've got to understand that your body's made of protein, your muscle fibers are made of protein, your cells are made of protein. Right, now there's 20 amino acids, and protein is basically broken down into amino acids. So amino acids join together make protein. So we're made up of 20 amino acids. 9 of those amino acids are what we call essential amino acids. So it means you have to specifically eat those amino acids to get them, or eat protein, actual protein sources that have those 9 amino acids in it, so that you can actually basically repair your body and your body can function properly. Now, that's very important to understand, that there's 9 essential. They're essential because your body cannot make them. You must eat them. You've got to consume them. Right, the rest of the amino acids, the other 11, your body will make up from different bits and pieces of, different kinds of food sources, or different sort of minerals and elements and stuff like that. Your body will make those, but there's 9 essential that you need to eat. Now, those 9 essential are predominantly found in animal products. For example, beef, chicken, fish, eggs, whey protein. Whey protein is an animal product. It basically is the byproduct of making cheese. So whenever they're making milk and the cheese, there's like a powder that they swipe off the top of it, and that's basically whey protein. About 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they started to realise how much amino acids, how many amino acids were in it, and the bioavailability of it. Don't worry about those big words. And they realised that this is actually very good for muscle repair. Then the supplement industry got a hold of it. They started to see it. They started to market it and sell it. But it's basically a byproduct of making cheese. So whey protein. So all these animal products are the ones that have the 9 essential, which is why, and this is not knocking anybody or being biased, it's just a fact that veganism and vegetarianism are not the healthiest diets for human beings, because plant-based proteins do not contain very many of the essential amino acids. Where, for example, if you have an egg, you're getting all 20. Right? If you eat beef, you're getting nearly all 20. If you eat chicken, you're getting 19 of them. Right? So focus on your animal products. Now, for just as a FYI, for anybody that is vegan or vegetarian, you can actually, food combine is called, they make up the amino acids, the essential, but it's very, very hard to do. You've got to be really in tune with your nutrition. You've got to understand all the stuff that's happening within your diet if you're vegan or vegetarian or something. So, but it's not the optimal diet for humans, because we're really lacking those amino acids. Remember, you're made of protein. So what happens if we start doing a calorie deficit? Calorie deficit just means we're restricting calories some sort, which is what we need to do to lose weight. Well, then what we're doing is we're causing the body stress, because the body's not getting the energy it needs, because we always want to be in energy balance. So, for example, if I use 3,000 calories a day just doing the stuff that I do, staying alive, exercising, working, walking, playing with my kids, doing whatever, brushing my teeth, putting on my clothes, all that energy equates to about 3,000 calories. Calories, just a unit of energy. So if I eat 3,000 calories, my weight pretty much stays the same. I am in balance. I am in equilibrium with my environment. All right, the food that I've coming on gives me it matches the energy that's going out. All right, and that's important to understand as well too. So whenever we go on a diet or some sort of calorie restriction or intermittent fasting is just calorie restriction. What we're doing is we're restricting the time in which we're consuming calories, so the time we do consume calories, we're probably consuming less calories in that short eating window than we would have if we were eating all day, but we're not tracking them. Does that make sense? I know I'm trying to get through a lot of stuff here. So we're going to calorie deficit. We are restricting energy. Right? If you restrict energy, your body goes into survival mode. What does survival mode mean? Right, well, the human body is designed for this. That's an evolutionary trait. That's what's kept us alive over hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. Remember, in nature, usually the most normal thing in nature is calories are hard to find. Forget about the modern day where you just open a cupboard and you just reach for food. Usually food is the most scarce thing for any animal on the planet to find. That's the hardest thing to do. To get food, they have enough energy, they stay alive, because food is usually scarce, especially when it comes to things like the winter time, or when we used to hunt animals, hunter and gatherers, it was hard to find that amount of food. So the body has built on this survival mechanism, which is called body fat. Remember, body fat contains calories. So we've got carbohydrates, we've got fats, and we've got protein. Protein and carbohydrates contain 4 calories per gram. Fat contains 9. So the body's quite smart. The body knows if this area for square area contains over double the calories of this, well, if I keep some of this, then I'll probably stay alive longer in a time of famine. Alright, does that make sense? So if I can keep body fat here, it means if I have to go a long time with no food, I want to stay alive. So preserving the stuff that has 9 calories as opposed to stuff that has 4 calories is going to keep me living longer. So when we go into a diet, we burn a lot of muscle tissue. So about sometimes between 30 to 50% of your weight loss was actually muscle, not fat. Right, and that's the problem, especially for people who hyper focus on the scales and just want to be lighter. What you're actually doing, making yourself lighter by, is burning off muscle tissue. Now, your body has a genetic size, it's who you are as an adult, your genetic blueprint of who you're going to be, and that's muscle frame wise. I have a limit to how much, even if I was doing bodybuilding, there's a limit to how much my body will grow, because this is just my frame. My body always wants to be that. My muscle tissue is what keeps me alive. It's an organ within itself. I need it to get me through the world, to transport around, to move my skeletal muscles, but to protect my immune system. So I need this muscularity. You need your muscles. So your body's always fighting to put that muscle back on again. This is why whenever you stop your diet, or if you're working really hard, you get the cravings, you just want to eat the world, because your body's telling you, we're breaking down too much muscle tissue here. I need you to eat. In fact, not just eat, but overconsume. I want you to gorge, so we can put back on this muscle, and we can also stock up this body fat in case this starvation bout happens again. Because your body doesn't know that you're in a diet just because you want to lose weight, because you want to look better. It thinks there's no fucking food around, so it goes into survival mode. Right? You have to understand that. So if we are going to make some sort of calorie deficit, doesn't matter for tracking, doesn't matter for intermittent fasting, whatever, if we prioritize protein consumption over everything else, there's less chance of the body breaking down too much muscle protein through the calorie deficit. If that happens, like I said, you will get that binge, that gorge mentality, that hunger that just can't be satisfied. So if we can preserve muscle tissue while burning body fat, which if you do look at the scales, would be very slow, because body fat per square inch doesn't weigh as much as muscle tissue, right? Muscle's probably about 10 times more heavier than fat, because it's a lot more dense, right? So burning off body fat takes a long time. Burning off muscle tissue you can do pretty quick, but your body will always fight to put it back on. So we need to prioritize protein. This is why I also always highly recommend you do resistance training for weight loss, because what we're doing is we're preserving that muscle tissue. If we preserve the muscle tissue, we burn more body fat, because we have a faster metabolic rate. Because remember, it's your muscle tissue that determines your metabolism. This is why your metabolism always slows down if you diet too long. You know those people who say eating too little is as bad as eating too much from a fat burning point of view? Yes, because your metabolism slows because there's less muscle tissue. So we prioritize protein. We should be prioritizing resistance training, and then when we go under that calorie deficit, we burn body fat, not muscle. Therefore, we don't rebound and put the weight back on again and more. Does that make sense? This is why you're always stuck in that yo-yo diet, because all you did was cut back. You didn't prioritize anything, you just cut everything back, and the body lost too much muscle tissue. This is why you get tired, it was why you get grumpy, that's why your diet or whatever protocol you were using was not sustainable. Right, so that's why we get the protein shake in, because if we're reducing our eating window, say 4 hours, then there's only so much protein you can eat in 4 hours. So if we take the 2 scoops of whey protein, that's giving you about 40 to 50 grams of whey straight away. That's about half of your daily recommended amount, right? Because what you should be eating is 1 gram per pound of body weight. So for example, if you're 10 stone, that's 140 pounds. That means you should be eating about 120 to 140 grams of protein per day. That's a lot of fucking protein, right? Especially if we've only got a 4 hour eating window, where am I going to get this from? So if I have 50 of those straight away and a protein shake, which is 2 scoops, with 45 grams to 50, then I've hit half that requirement straight away. So there's less chance of there's less chance of the weight that I lose coming from muscle tissue. Therefore, there's more chance of that weight loss being permanent, which is what the key here is: permanent weight loss. How do we lose weight and keep it off? We've all lost weight before, but we've always put the bastard back on a wee bit more. So how do we prevent that rebound from happening? So anytime we do get results, we maintain it. Like I said in the previous videos, this protocol is great to do once a month. Lose body fat, keep it off. Lose body fat, keep it off. Not lose weight, put it back on and more. Lose weight, make it even harder to do. Lose weight, oh my god, I'm now 10 stone fucking heavier than what I was when I started my first diet. Does that make sense? So you got to prioritize these things. The second reason why we want to take the protein shake is, like I said, when you do start consuming foods, specifically carbohydrates, but anything, you do get that because you've gone through that state of fasting, which is starvation for all intents and purposes. The body gives it that, oh, feed now, food's now in abundance, let's top up these fat reserves. In case this happens, I will stay alive. So if we fill the belly up with protein shake, half an hour later you try to consume a meal, you'll find that there's less chance of you actually wanting to eat it or eat very much of it. So it just keeps that portion control, as we consume. Alright, so we're 4 hour eating window today. If you start to get a wee bit tired around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, have another hydration shot. Alright, remember, it's dehydration that is the biggest problem when we're fasting. Tiredness, grumpiness, sore head, hunger. They're not hunger. It's none of those things really. It's dehydration. So if we keep the body hydrated, we need sodium in order to keep water in the body. There's no point in just drinking water and water and water and water and water, and your pees come out like freaking pure Evian. That means that your minerals have been diluted, and you're just actually making the problem worse. The more water you add on, the more you're just pushing that fluid through. Great for getting rid of fluid retention, but you're just making yourself dehydrated. Dehydration shows ghrelin, hunger, well, perceived hunger, and then you start eating. Makes sense. So let's go with that today. Again, any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I do recommend watching these videos a couple of times. I'm trying to simplify very complicated information here so it's easier for you to get your head right. Again, like I said, I'm a great advocate of, if I can get you to understand, really understand the reason why we're doing everything, it's easy for you to implement it and get more success from it. If I said you just do something, after a couple of days it's going to be like, fuck that, what's the point? I just couldn't be bothered. But if I get you to actually really understand what's happening with your body from a physiological point of view and why we need to do this and how it's going to make your outcome better, it's much easier for you to do. Right, have a good day.